There is much to see and do in Russia. It's home to some of Europe's most eye-catching architecture. This short video will show you some of Russia's most famous buildings. Let's start with the capital, Moscow. The biggest attractions in Moscow are all centered around the Red Square area, which you can see here. As you can also see from the picture, it attracts many tourists each year. One of the Red Square's most spectacular sights is the Grand Kremlin Palace. It contains over 700 rooms and is the official residence of the presidents of Russia. It used to be the home of the Tsar and Tsarina when they used to stay in Moscow back when St. Petersburg was the capital of the country. Looking at this picture of the Hall of Facets, it is easy to see that the luxury in which the Tsar, the Tsarina and their family lived just over 100 years ago. Arguably, the highlight of the Red Square is this, St. Basil's Cathedral. This was built in the 16th century during the reign of Ivan the Terrible to celebrate victory in a famous battle. Legend has it that he had the architect's eyes gouged out so that he wouldn't be able to recreate this masterpiece elsewhere in the Russian Empire. And although many historians are not sure whether this story is true or not, there is no other church like this in Russia today. It is now a museum. Because of its many colours, visitors think that it looks kind of like a fairy tale castle. Next we go to St. Petersburg, which is north of Moscow and Russia's second largest city. There's also much to see and do here. This is the world famous Heritage Museum. It was founded by a famous Russian leader who has become known as Catherine the Great. The Hermitage holds more paintings than any other museum in the world. When you look at this picture, you might think it doesn't look like a museum at all, and you'd be right. Part of the Hermitage used to be a palace, and this was where the Tsar and his family would have lived up until 1917. Unsurprisingly, the name Peter pops up again and again in St. Petersburg. This is a photo of St. Peter and Paul's fortress, which was built to protect the city from attack. In the middle of the fortress is this splendid cathedral called, yes, you guessed it, St. Peter and Paul's Cathedral. The founder of St. Petersburg, Peter the Great, is buried here. On top of the cathedral is a spire, and on top of the spire is an angel holding a golden cross. This has become one of the main symbols of St. Petersburg. Next, we travel south to a city called Volgograd, which is built on the river Volga. Volgograd used to be called Stalingrad and was the scene of a very famous battle in World War II called the Battle of Stalingrad. Over 1 million people lost their lives in this battle. This is an 85-meter high statue which was christened "The Motherland Calls." It was designed to celebrate the Russian heroes of the battle. It was once the world's tallest sculpture and is still the tallest sculpture of a woman in the world. Here we can see her calling to all Russians to defend their country in its hour of need. Our last stop is east of the Ural Mountains, to a city called Yekaterinburg. This is the Church on the Blood. Kind of a gruesome name, but it was called this as it was built on the spot where the last ever Tsar, Nicholas II, and his family were executed in 1918. So, we have seen luxurious palaces, beautiful cathedrals, a bloody church, a gargantuan museum, and the world's tallest sculpture of a female. Why not take the quiz and see how much you remember? Or maybe you'd like to watch it again before testing yourself.